Hi, and welcome to this new lecture on WordPress forms. In this lesson, we'll learn how to use a new plugin that is related to WordPress forms. This WordPress form plugin is actually free, but there are some advanced options in it that are paid. So let me go to the search bar here and type WPForms. And as you can see here, this is the plugin that you need to install. I'll simply click on Install Now. Okay, so I'll install this and then we'll see what we can do with it. So basically what we're going to do is a simple form with the help of this plugin. You can also see the 5-star rating here. Pay attention to the ginormous number of reviews as well. Wow, it's around 12,000 reviews. This clearly shows us that the plugin is very useful and that it gets updated frequently. In fact, as you can see here, the last update took place just 3 days ago, while the one here on the right was updated 2 months ago. Then the more I scroll down, the less popular are the plugins. So now make sure you don't use these types of plugins as the rating is very low. Alright, so we have installed the needed plugin. And now if I go to installed plugins, you can see all the plugins I have. I'll simply activate the WP Forms Lite plugin that was just installed. I'll open it. Then here, as you can see, it says create your first form. I can also click on WP Forms on the left. I'll then see a create your form button in orange. Now, keep in mind that this plugin gets frequently updated, so if you're watching this after some time, you might have a totally different interface. So this interface might look totally unfamiliar to you by then, but it's very simple, no worries. I'm pretty sure you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. Okay, next. If I click on create your form, I'll be taken here. If I want to make a blank form, I'll use this first option here. If instead of a totally blank form, I want to use a template, I'll click on this one right here. But of course, if you want to make your form from absolute scratch, you should use the first option, blank form. No worries, I'll use both of them and show you what's inside. Here you can see a form on the screen. The format is first then last for the name. If I change it to simple, this is how it looks like. Now it just says name without asking for first and last. There is also an option called first, middle, last. So if I pick this format, this is how it looks like. Okay, then here we have the email. And as you can see, there is a star after the word email, meaning that this is a required field. This simply means that when the user fills in the form, he cannot move forward unless he has filled out the form with all the required information. For the fields where there is no star, it's not mandatory for the user to put something. These fields can be left empty. Then here on the left, we have the Add Fields option. Here we can simply add new fields. So I'll add the numbers field by clicking on the numbers blue button. And here you go. Our numbers fields have been added. I added multiple ones, but no need for them all. So I click on the bin icon here and I delete the unnecessary ones. Okay, next. If I want to modify its position, I can do so as well. So how can I do this? Simply by dragging it where I want. Let's say I want it just below the email. I can do that, no problem at all. Then I can add other fields as well. Let's say I want the checkboxes field. I simply click on it and then I put it here. Okay, so it's taking some time. It's still loading. Alright, so now we can see that it's asking us for the first, second and third choices. When I click on it here, I'll be able to do necessary changes to the field names. I'll write here cricket, football and hockey. Then I change the label to hobbies so that the user can easily know what this is about. Then here we have a description box. I'll leave it empty. You can also add images here if you want, but we don't need to do that. Alright, So we just finished building our form. You can now click on the orange Save button at the top. So yeah, since we have added some new fields, we needed to save our work. Then here, as you can see, this is the payment section where we select the payment methods. But we have to upgrade to Pro to be able to use payment integration. I'll save the form again, and then exit the setup by clicking on the X here. Now, how can we select the form? So, the form is usually used in the contact page. And here you go. We have the form in front of us. Then I click on the Update button in blue here. I'll type in some text and I then click on Submit. As you can see, it's not being submitted because there are still some required fields that are not filled. I'll put in here some random email, numbers, and comments to overcome this issue. Then I submit it. And here you go. It worked well now. It's written, "Thank you for contacting us. We will be in touch with you shortly." So this is basically a message that has been automatically generated by WPForms. If you buy the premium package, you'll get access to many advanced options. You will be provided with a backup and there will also be a confirmation message. Now I go back and click on Entries, and as you can see, I needed to upgrade to Pro to access this. Alright, so I'll now go to All Forms to start the customization from the start. We'll create a blank form. So I'll add a single line field and I change the name to first name here. Alright, so here I'll keep the field size as it is and I write first name in the placeholder text. I'll add two more fields here. I'll change the field size to small and write password in the placeholder text and label. Next, I can change this label here to email and I change the size to small again. I'll change the placeholder text to email as well. You can also limit the length here, but we don't need to do that now. Okay, next, if I click on Smart Logic, this is what I get. As I said before, we have to buy the premium version to use the advanced options. Alright, so we're able to add 3 fields. Let's then add another one. But before, just pay attention to this. I see an email field, so basically here we should have used the email field instead of the single line. But it's okay for now, not a big deal. Then here, I add the multiple choice field in which we have to select an option amongst the choices available to us. Then next, we have the number slider field. I'll use it as age field so that the user can pick an age. Alright, so I change its label to select age and the field size to small. Then here for the default value, I give it a value of 10. Increments means by how many units it will increase, so I'll write it 1. I'll keep the value display as is. And I then save my work by clicking on the orange Save button at the top. Okay, great. Otherwise, you can simply use a template. You can choose any form from this list. These forms are free, but as we go down, you can see that we have to upgrade to Pro to use some of them. The grey Pro symbol at the top right of the boxes indicates that you need to have the Pro version to use these templates. If I click on View Demo, this is where I will be taken to. So, as you can see when we scroll down, this is a donation form and this is how it looks like. So this is basically the preview of this form. We can surely make this form ourselves if we want. Alright, so if I click on Use this template, I'll be able to see the pricing plans. And as you can in the menu on the left, there are so many different categories in which you have been some readily available form templates for you to use. Let's have a look at this grade book form as well. So yeah, this is simple form and this is how it looks like. You can easily create it yourself if you want. Alright, I hope you learned a lot about forms.